you so much. My colleagues on the platform, your new members of parliament come September 7th and the 8th. Give them a round of applause. And all of you gathered here in Arima, I say good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Rain, sunshine, we are still here. And you know something? We always say, for whatever, Rowley never. Because tonight, I am told that the meeting is organized by the opposition party, that they cancelled their meeting. They cancelled their meeting. And we are here tonight, rain, no rain, in full force. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being here. Now, you know, today is day 19, okay? 19 days ago, to election day. But exactly 1 month before election day, on August 7th, I launched our plan, the People's Partnership Plan, our manifesto, in which we have set out our plans, our policies, and our vision for taking Trinidad and Tobago forward, for ensuring that every person in our land will have equal opportunities and equal access to the resources of the country. The opposition leader, over 300 days ago, promised to share his plan with Trinidad and Tobago. Up to last Thursday, at the Woodford Square rally, the opposition leader said they will put their manifesto online. Well, I checked before I came here, there is no manifesto online from the opposition. They have no plan, they have no vision, all they have is Movilan. And you know, I know when we were growing up, they tell you, sticks and stones may break my bones, but the Movilan will never harm us, because we do have a plan, we have a vision, okay? In every sphere and in every endeavor, in every arena, we have set out those plans. I have shared with you in the last several weeks from the platform some of the things that we want to do. At that time, we did not name our candidates, and there were people who were saying, why don't you name your candidates? They were rushing me, and I said, don't jump me. Don't jump me. Remember, for the election day, call election, call election, call election. From the time we formed the government in 2010, they said we never last call election. And every year, every month of every year, call election, call elections. I said we would call those elections when they are due in law. So said, so done. We keep our word. We were able then, in spite of all the naysayers and the opposition, and all their threats to shut down this country, all their threats to have the mother of all demonstrations, all of that, we stood strong, we stood courageous, and we lasted for a full constitutional term. Did not happen before. Only once before in the history of Trinidad and Tobago has the government lasted its full constitutional term. That in itself is an achievement. And we did that without the country being shut down. We did that in spite of the fall in the oil and gas prices. We did not let anyone lose their jobs. We did not cut the social safety network Mr. Christine administers in the Ministry of the People and Social Development. And we made that promise that no one would lose their job, that we would not cut anything that was to the benefit of the most vulnerable persons. I keep that commitment to you today, that should you give us a mandate for a second term, we will work to ensure that not a single worker loses their job. We will work to ensure that. We will work to ensure that our most vulnerable, the elderly, the children, the disabled, we will continue to make sure that we keep the social safety net. And as I'm in Arima tonight, I want to share my own concerns and sympathies for those 200 persons who lost their jobs because of the fire that took place. And I don't just share my concern today. At the launch of the biometric card, I indicated that I will take for consideration to our cabinet tomorrow 2 things. One, the establishment of an interministerial team to look at ways in which you can transition those workers who lost their jobs into jobs. We will help them. And secondly, I will take the cabinet to consider tomorrow the giving of a one-off grant of $5,000 to each of the persons who have lost their jobs because of the fire. I'm saying that we are a government that cares. We will continue to care, and they've asked us, many times, what separates the opposition from us? They say it's the same old, some people say, same old khaki pants. But you know, and I know, that there are tremendous differences with the opposition and with the People's Partnership. Let me share some of that with you and remind you. I have said from day one that my government and our partnership is about people-centered development, putting people first. That is the kind of development we've been engaged in. We will continue to engage. And those are not just words, young man. We have delivered it, we have actioned it, we walk the talk, we don't just talk the talk. People-centered development, that is why we put so much resources into the education and training sector, because we believe that every person deserves the opportunity to get education and training so as to get a good job, a sustainable job, and improve the quality of your life and that of your family. So education has been a top priority on our agenda, and that is why we built over 100 schools in 5 short years. That is people-centered development. That is people-centered development. That is why I understand and I know that for our children to survive in the digital world, in this global village now, that they must be computer literate. And that is why I committed in 2010 to give the laptops to our children. I kept that promise, we delivered on it. Laptops, over 95,000 laptops delivered to children and teachers. That is why. That is people-centered government, putting people first. Now, the opposition leader is talking about cuts. He has criticized, I think one of your speakers, maybe Ms. Pettifer, spoke about the opposition leader criticizing our laptop program. He says it failed. And I'm sure it failed for him, he can't use a laptop. And I say it because if he were computer literate like the children in our schools, he would not have to fabricate emails, botched emails, make up emails, and bring them to the parliament. He would have known from the time he saw the text and format of that email. He would have known, as our secondary school children do, that those were fake emails. I want to ask him then, does he plan to cut the laptops? Will he stop giving the laptops to our children because he says it hasn't worked? Wake up, man. Wake up. That is the way of the future. We put the tools in the hands of the children, not just for today, but to prepare them for the way tomorrow. And I commit to you tonight again, in our second term, we will continue to deliver laptops to the children in our schools. In addition, we will give computers to first-year university students. And we'll begin on a phased basis to give either the tablets or the iPads to our children in the primary school. They will be the most literate in the world. So I was sharing with you how our philosophy is fundamentally different from the PNM. I had said in 2010 in our conversations on the campaign trail that my legacy will not be in tall mega buildings, but will be in hospitals and in schools. I have kept that promise in education, in investing in our children, in training. And in terms of improving healthcare, we've also kept our promise and we will continue to improve. And look what we did. Right here in Arima, you know, since independence, we were promised a hospital. It took the People's Partnership government to start the progress, start the construction of that hospital right here in Arima. That is people-centered development. That is putting people first. And that is what we will continue to do. That is why we completed the Children's Hospital. I ask you to take some time to visit to see it. It is astounding. The equipment is state-of-the-art, modern in there. And the hospital not just for children, but also for adults, 230 beds with a burns unit, as the industrial estate is so close by. It is the only one of its kind in the entire region. Trinidad and Tobago shows the light, leads the way once again in healthcare. And that is why we are also building, we've started construction on the long-promised Point 14 Hospital. That is why we also establish and we have running the El Dorado Nurses Academy and other allied medical fields. You know what? Because we're creating jobs. We are not just looking to create good healthcare and improve healthcare. We are also about creating jobs for you, for your children, for your families. That hospital, the Children's Hospital alone, requires 2,500 persons to staff it. When your hospital is complete in Arima, again, thousands of jobs will be created right here in Arima to work in that hospital. And therefore, they are sustainable jobs that will come your way. I encourage you to enroll in the Nurses Academy. It is not too far from you. If you go there, you will see it as well as being an establishment that is first class with all the facilities you would need and equipment you will need to study in these fields. And I urge you to do it because there are certain areas that if you study for those, train for those, once you graduate, you will be guaranteed a job. The health sector is one of those sectors. The other is in the education sector, because we have now reached UN Millennium Development Goal. We've surpassed that goal where we now have free preschool education for every child between the ages 3 to 5. But we will need preschool teachers, so take your training. The Ministry of Tertiary Education has many programs. Get your education and your training because there's a job waiting for you. There's a job waiting for you. You know, people tell me when I meet they want sustainable jobs. But to get a sustainable job, you need to have skills training, education. And it doesn't matter what age you are, the programs are there, of course, primary, secondary, tertiary. But there are a lot of programs for adults that you can go back and train and retrain. Now, you may be a first-class plumber, or a first-class mason, or a welder, but you have no certificate. We have established workforce assessment centers where you can go in, they will assess you. If you're up to standard, they will give you a certificate. And guess what? If you're not up to standard, they will pay you a stipend. They will train you to bring you up to standard to get your certificate. Today is the age of certificates. So we are about people-centered development. We are about putting people first. In education, in training, in healthcare. We know crime fighting remains a priority on our agenda, as it is on yours, a great concern. But I think we must remind ourselves, and for those of us who did not know, we should know, that for the first time in 31 years, serious crime is at its lowest rate. For the first time in 31 years. Yes, we have improved in crime fighting, but we still have a long way to go. And therefore we will continue to improve on resourcing the protective services. We will continue to improve on training for the protective services. We will continue with our program to lock down our borders to prevent the inflow of drugs, of guns, and of human trafficking. We already have 3 out of 12 ships. They've already landed on our shores and they've begun work, and the others are in train to come. We will lock down our maritime borders to keep out the drugs, to keep out the guns, to keep out the human traffickers. We promised you in 2010 we will establish a national operations center. So said, so done. That center now coordinates all the protective services under one roof. So there's a coordinating effort whenever the need arises for us to deal with a situation, whether a man-made situation or whether a natural disaster. That center is operated. We have now put, as promised, in every police vehicle, we now have the GPS installed in every single police vehicle. That's what we promised you. Those are some of the measures that have helped us to bring down the serious crimes. But we know there is room for improvement, and we commit to continuing to work in the fight against crime. So healthcare, education, fighting crime, and very important is growing the economy. Because we cannot continue to depend on the oil and gas revenues. We need to diversify. We need to find other ways of creating jobs and creating more revenue streams to come into Trinidad and Tobago. And that is why we have committed to, in our next term, to growing the export manufacturing sector. That is why we have committed to growing the services export sector. And in these two sectors, again, more jobs will be created, more revenue will come into Trinidad and Tobago. You have heard me speak of the silver economy, the blue economy, the green economy, yes? Today, someone asked me that they read in the manifesto where we said that we are looking at raising the retirement age. Now, don't get me wrong. That is purely voluntary. We're saying to those persons whom are well-trained, experienced, have served their lifetime working, that if you cross the age of 65 and you want to continue to work, you're capable and able, then that opportunity should be given to you, and that is part of the silver economy. That is part of the silver economy. Our opposition persons, those against us, they are not interested in raising the retirement age. They have said no to it. I say yes to it, because those senior citizens will have experience. They will have the will and ability to work. And we will say only those who choose to continue working should be given the opportunity. You know why? The aging the population is increasingly becoming more and more composed of, made up of persons, senior citizens, most senior citizens. So you take them out of the work sector, there's a greater burden then on the younger ones who are less to sustain the pensions and all the other things we give to the elderly. They are willing to work, we say, we will consider giving them that chance. Now, that's part of the silver economy, but a lot of jobs will be created in the silver economy, which is, as I say, for senior citizens, jobs in caring for them, jobs in looking after their needs, other jobs will be created. I talked to you about the blue economy. Down Toko areas, all along us, all around us, we are two islands surrounded by the very beautiful waters of the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. And we must make the best use of that. It is a tremendous human resource, natural resource, that we should use to full advantage. You know, if you travel, or if you go up on your TV or you Google, you will see in more developed countries, wherever they have water, whether it is on the lakes, whether it is on the seasides, wherever they have water, those areas are so developed for tourists, for sports tourism, for several other initiatives taking place wherever you find water. You know, in Trinidad and Tobago, surrounded by water as we are, if I were to ask you how many of you can swim, good. If I were to ask you how many of you cannot swim, the majority of hands will say, I can't. And that is another, it's strange, you go to these very cold countries and they're developing their children to swim and, you know, you wouldn't even want to put your toe in the kind of water these children are in these cold countries swimming. So, Minister of Sport Brent Sancho, thank you for building the aquatic center. Thank you for building it. We want to open it. I want to open it very soon. And the blue economy, we recently began the construction down at the Marcus Beach facility to improve and modernize that. Again, Minister of Sport has said that he will place sports tourism there, using the waters there, greater tourist attraction. Did you know the bacon shark out of Maracas has made world news as one of the best fast foods in the world? So when we bring the tourists from everywhere, we need to have a facility to accommodate all, not just us here, but those who come from abroad, because guess what? They will also be bringing in more revenue and more jobs will be created. We already completed the Chaguaramas boardwalk. If you have a chance, take a visit. Again, state-of-the-art world facility. We want to do at Mayaro, we want to work on a hotel tourism project on the beach down there. That is our manifesto too. And San Fernando waterfront project. So wherever the water is, we are going to use it to create jobs, to bring in more money, to improve the quality of life of every citizen. I've talked to you about the blue economy, the green economy now. Green economy, yes, a cleaner environment. That's what we're speaking about. All over the world, cleaner environments are top priorities. We are fortunate we don't have smog. You know, when I visited China at the invitation of the President of China recently, I could not believe what it was like when you were outdoors. Even when it was daytime, people were wearing masks. You know, like when doctors do surgery, they wear a mask. They were wearing masks on their faces during the daytime. And a television person was interviewed and asked me, did they advise me to wear one of these face masks? I said, no. No, but I've seen people on the street with it. And they said it's because of the smog, the pollution. It is so high that people walk about, normal people, with face masks on the streets. We are nowhere near there, and we do not want to get anywhere near there. I tell you, it was like looking at a science fiction movie. The place was dark and gloomy. Like when it's like dusk time in Trinidad, 6 o'clock when the place is gloomy, before the moonlight comes out, that's how it was. And then these people in the streets, on the roadsides, with face masks. Science fiction scenery that we don't want to see in Trinidad and Tobago. So green economy, a green environment, creating industries for renewable energy and clean energy. Already we have begun the project for converting motor vehicles away from the fossil fuel, the petroleum, diesel and so on, into CNG, compressed natural gas, which is cleaner energy and of course cheaper energy. So we've already begun that process to convert all government vehicles into CNG vehicles to start with, the PTSC vehicles, and of course others used by ministries. And we have incentives for normal citizens, not the government vehicles as I say, for your vehicles to be converted as well, for you to access cheaper fuel and of course cleaner fuel. So you've been here for a bit. I will talk with you again on another day. I assure you that the plans that we have, and I urge you to go up online to get more details of the plans that we have for improving the quality of life of every citizen, the plans that we have in here to grow the economy, to create more jobs, to improve healthcare, to improve in the fight against crime, to improve in education and training, and of course, to improve the infrastructure development of Trinidad and Tobago. We've done a lot of that already, a lot of roads, bridges, landscapes. We will continue with that work. You know, the opposition sometimes tells us, they laugh at us and they say, we are box train government. I want to tell you, I'm very happy about that because the box trains help us to deal with the flooding. So we'll continue to work with that. As I close, I say when we do all of these things, when we work to grow in the blue economy, the green economy, the silver economy, what we will be creating is a golden economy, which everyone, every person will have a chance to access all the resources of Trinidad and Tobago. And so on September 7th, vote for your partnership candidate. Vote for Roger Samuel for Arima. Vote for Jairam Simanga for Alcatraz.